Hey there, beloved Ascension Pioneers. Welcome to a continuation of my twin soul videos. I haven't done one in a while, and recently I had some experiences again that really guided me to share a bit about this as well. This will be kind of like a continuation to my twin soul energy transfer and twin soul magic video. If you're new, please go check that out. It's on my Divine Love and twin soul video playlist. And it's about what's still causing confusion in people to reference someone as their true ultimate beloved. I've been talking about this for a while now, and it's actually something that I still see when people either write to me or respond to me, and when I have personal experiences with this energy being transferred to me, maybe from different channels. It's like I know what confuses people. I can see why this is still an issue. And we're really being challenged. You know, the beloved energy is the ultimate energy of all. And first of all, let me speak on this note of something that I'll be sharing writing about this week as well, because I already wrote it. Just needs to be kind of perfected in a sense, because I'm a perfectionist. So it needs to come out in utmost dedication and devotion, as always. So the thing is that many people still confuse the twin soul relationship because there's so much talk about this mirroring aspect. In a way that they think it's a learning relationship. And then I was discussing this with someone who was asking me questions about this, and they said to me, well, isn't every relationship a learning relationship? And what I'm responding to everyone right now who's asking maybe themselves the same question, that yes, of course it is, because our journey is that of infinite expansion. But, you know, as each cycle is different, in each cycle we're learning in a different way. So how twin souls, when they come together in service to the divine, how they're learning is not the same way that people who still have that mirroring, you know, neutralizing the polarities within themselves, and then, you know, in order to step in their true divine signature and blueprint of their soul origin, how they were created in creation itself. And therefore, their lessons are different. So the thing is that a true soul reunion of two beloveds is always that of greater service. So when two people, let's make it the most physical as we can, because a lot of times I talk about the higher concepts and people can understand them. Okay, so what I'm talking about here is, for example, somebody writes to me and they say, oh, me and my twin flame are corresponding in this and that way, and we're twin flames and blah blah blah, all that sharing, you know, all that words. But what I sometimes really feel is when this is being expressed, when somebody describes the way they communicate in that relationship or the way they share, it feels like learning. It feels more like a learning experience instead of a new sense of learning, which is kind of like learning within the expansion of service. Because the question that, you know, was always a question on my path is, no, how can I improve more myself? You know, people are still remembering themselves. I have walked that journey, you know. It's like a chapter of my life that no longer plays a part. For 3 years now, I'm already, you know, surrendered to the divine will and being of service. So a path of true beloveds is always a path of the question, which is how may we improve our service to the collective, to all that is, because we're just parts of it in creation. And like I said, their wholeness serves the wholeness of all. So sometimes people say we're mirrors with this person or that person, and my response to this note would be we're all mirrors. You know, everybody brings you a certain mirroring aspect of a soul quality and essence that still wishes to either resurface and be expressed or not. So the thing that I want to mention here is a lot of people still miss that focus. And only the strongest of the strong can really live physically embodied with their twin souls. And those people won't even call themselves that. They'll just be really focused on doing their thing. You know, just recently this woman added me, and I look at her page, and I see she had these sacred journeys and sacred teachings about divine feminine and masculine, and she was married to this person who was from another country, but now they live together. And I always get that instant spirit knowing. It's like, oh, they are truly beloved. Or, for example, you know, this couple who makes divine music together, it's like the same divine beloveds. It's like this knowing, because with their wholeness, they're reaching the wholeness of others, and they're therefore reaching the expansion within the greater mass. So to be of service is something that people still don't fully understand here, because they think that being of service means that you have to live a highly spiritual path. You know, only the highest evolved souls will have a very high spiritual path. They will have a path to be kind of like a way shower, pillar of light, gatekeeper, whatever. It doesn't matter. But being of service doesn't mean you only do that. Being of service means that you have profounded your authenticity of your soul, and now you're sharing it in the grander sense. So, you know, it doesn't take two spiritual teachers to be twin souls. It's just, it's not understood properly, you know, this aspect of service. It's, you're being serving to self when you're still seeking. You know, some people say, I'm a spiritual seeker. Well, then you're still profounding yourself. You're still remembering. But it's like you're always learning and expanding. But like I said, in the path of two beloveds, the path of how they learn is different, because they learn through service. Their challenges always come through service. Like, they're always being tested. Not tested, like, I don't like to use this word, but they're challenged through different initiations. Okay, so now to wrap it up, I would also like to expand more about soul transfer. So for my birthday, I had this, it will be more like a personal experience, okay? Since I sometimes like to share through that example as well. For my birthday, I had this twist and turn, and it was a very surprising, you know. So it was with this person, we exchanged energy, and it felt very, very tantric. And it was, the whole night I couldn't sleep because I was asking myself, what is this about? Because I knew that person is not on the level of awareness to be able to hold that amount of energy that you can exchange. So all night I just couldn't. And then before falling asleep, it was like this, you know, have you forgotten, Polona, about the twin soul energy transfer? You know, I mentioned to you in that video a movie called Dracula, and it sounds funny, but really, if you haven't seen it, try see it, because it shows how the beloved energy can act through anything in your life. That is why in my letter to my beloved, written a while ago, I was writing about how he is in the essence of every man, in all creation, in everything, in all life, present, always. So for my birthday, because my beloved couldn't be there physically yet, he came, and he came through another conduit who was able to hold that amount of energy at that time. He was available. So that was shown to me again, and I was, oh gosh, I forgot about that. And the reason why we have, those of us who are in this path of merging and coming together in this great unity to serve others as well through our unions, that in the end will always be physical, because we're here on earth, you know, we're the representatives of this consciousness embodied on earth. So we have these experiences, and we exchange the energy sometimes, because sometimes we're so busy on what we do, you know, the service, that we forget. So sometimes there's this something missing, this quality of the playfulness and the beautiful energy that can be expressed only in that reunion. And so something will come to you, and it will be this beautiful exchange, and you will know that your beloved is right there with you at this time, and either he or she is very close. So for me, that was like when I shift from confusion to instant clarity, it's like this, and if I'm peace again. Oh, I get it. So I had a friendly talk with my friend, and we were exchanging about this. And she said, well, I always have the same thing. But if the person can hold the energy in the physical as well, with their actions, deeds, spiritual integrity, you know, everything, devotion, they're not the right person. And that's why I see people make these mistakes when they think that someone is their beloved just because they can hold energy for a certain amount. You know, that's when you say, I'm falling in love. In that moment, oh, you feel like that's your ultimate beloved. But on the other note, it can be expressed, the energy level cannot be sustained. And I know this is not for everybody to understand this soul energy transfer, because it needs to be in a very highly expanded consciousness to understand how this works. Otherwise you might say, oh, it's mumbo jumbo, it's fairy tale. Of course, for you on that level, it's fairy tale, it's fiction, because it doesn't happen to you because you cannot be open to it. Only when you're open to, you have the ability to experience. And another thing here that is very important to express is that we can only experience something that we have a reference point to. That's why a lot of people don't know. They think, oh, that's it. That's where it ends with this person. Although they cannot in all ways. You know, we're energy beings. We're vibratory beings. That means our physical vessel is our vibration expression as well. So it needs to be embodied on all levels up until the physical vessel. It's not about, you know, somebody said to me, oh, you will never know me through that way. And I'm really amazed how some people think that knowing someone happens on a personality level. Well, true knowing comes through the soul, and when you're open to purity and you're tuned into all that is, which is spirit, life force of all creation, you can sense people, you can have that insight right into their souls, and you can see even maybe the things that they're hiding from themselves. So people who say, well, you will know me through my personality, are very much mistaken, because they can see the depth. A true recognition always happens on the soul level, even if we think it's personality. And people say, well, you will never know me on a personality level. Well, true, because personality will always keep shifting. You know, it changes. It's created through the soul. So the soul is always the basis. The soul is the first expression of identification of that uniqueness of source. Okay? So the thing is that some people think that. But the reunion comes through that remembrance. It's not how, you know, you recognize them on a personality level, how they are. You recognize them because they have the same soul encoding, same passions, same desire to serve in a very similar matter to you, only they will be the exact polarized expression of you, but the same vibratory essence created through source of one. So in that reference, when like I said, when you shift for clarity and you have that understanding, and when you understand how this energy transfer works, you'll just go and flow with it. You will feel like it's a blessing that it comes to you, and you will feel you're beloved in all the essence. So you'll be opening yourself more to that, but you won't be making that attachment to who the person used to be, because when you do that, your mind gets involved, and you're testing yourself. We're always testing ourselves. Our soul gives us these challenges to test ourselves. How much you really devoted to your beloved, to the path of your beloved. Some people will say, oh, you get lost in that desire, but I just want to be with that person so much. Okay, because there's free will of how you want to express yourself and what you want to experience. And maybe that experience on its own will give you the reference points that you need to recognize the beloved energy. Because, like I said, I explained this to my divine companion. We had a session today. And I explained to her through this simple example. Somebody has never in this life experienced bliss. So they have no reference point of it. In my own example, when I was going through these initiations in life, I never understood the energy of lying or betrayal or things like that, because I don't have that on a soul level. So I needed to come across these experiences to know what that feels like, so I can have a reference point to, oh, this is how betrayal feels like. Oh, this is how lying feels like. Oh, this is how wearing a mask feels like, or, being in deception and deceit and this. So the message that I received from Spirit today was about devotion. It was about an oath. So we have this oath to ourselves and to our true beloved that is us. In the final end, it's always us, because it's one soul. So do we have that oath to really, when we're being challenged in these ways, can we see the opportunity to expand to our own beloved energy? So if someone who maybe for that moment is mirroring that aspect to us, and it feels, oh my God, divine, tantric, beautiful, but is it on a deeper level? When you go beyond that, what you experience maybe for some moment, can they hold, can they sustain that energy? Can they be as you in divine integrity, in divine service, in honoring you as the way you honor them and you honor yourself in all of life? If not, then they're not fulfilling their oaths, and they're not being devoted like you are. So it's not really your beloved. If you're on that level and they're not, and if it's not physically expressed through them, it is not. It's just not how it is. People get all these kind of projections, and they forget. So many people have forgotten, in essence, what a true soul reunion is about. It's always about divine remembrance of yourself, of your unique soul expression through passion, joy, creativity, divine service, like I said, and then sharing it on your life journey with someone else who mirrors you completely on all levels. So when your soul energy transfer comes through someone, be really observant, because only being in your state of neutrality, observation, which is the field where divine love can flourish and be channeled through, only that you can remain in truth. And it is all about truth and being devoted to it. So keep your oaths, beloveds, to yourself. This is what will get you further, because in a moment of temptation, you might say, oh, but this feels so good. I want to surrender to that experience. If you do, well, by all means do it, because then your soul is guiding you to have that experience. But for me, on my path, even though I had some of those experiences, right now I don't feel I need them anymore. They're not serving me, because I've learned that. I already know how, devotion feels like. But also, I already know how, on the other hand, deception feels like. These are maybe two sides of the same coin, but they're different. In duality, when you already understand something like a certain energy essence, you no longer need to experience it. So with understanding comes awareness. So when you have a reference point, So when I experience bliss, oh, now I have a reference point about it. And it always comes, like I explained to my divine companion today, the knowing, the spirit knowing, the embodiment comes with the merging of experience, so it's like experiential spirituality, and with the aspect of higher understanding, so when you gain clarity about it, so when you have the awareness about it, what's taking place. And through merging of those two, you have knowing. This is how knowing takes place. And it's a state of feeling, it's not emotion. It's deep spirit knowing, it's the feeling. And it's natural to all of you. And it comes from our natural state of grace. So my beloved companions, I know this was more highly, talked in high spiritual concepts, but there are very practical examples in your life that can teach you. And it's up to each and all of you to go through these challenges, because they're for you. It's for you to ground that. Without grounding that, you're not actually embodying it in the physical. So take care. I'm sending you so many blessings from a beautiful, magical, fairy Elvish Forest, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye. Hello there, beautiful ones. I'm just showing you how my beloved mountains got their first snow cap. Yeah, the fall is coming, but it will melt. It's just the first ray of purification coming here physically on Earth. Preparation for the equinox energies. So much happening weather-wise, but it is a blessed change. I want to go still to the mountains for the full moon. We will see, but just until then, mountain greetings.